Hello, all. I hope you've had a good day. I did my presentation today. I'm so excited to have that done. I felt like I did pretty good on it. I could definitely tell the areas that I enjoy talking about. And you could definitely tell I was nervous, but I tried to move through it just the way that I do and be truly authentic to me, because that's just all I know how at this point in the venture. I really do. Every time I try to be somebody I'm not, it blows up in my face. And I've tried to do that for many, many years of my life. And it just hasn't worked out for me. It hasn't worked out in my favor, And I'm finally at a place now where it's like, there are a lot of setbacks. There are a lot of obstacles, tactics and illusions. Yeah, they're all there, no doubt. But I can handle those. What I can't handle is doing a disservice to myself. That's one thing I can't handle. Life is just too short, and, we all just deserve to be truly honest with ourselves and what makes us happy, and for me, what makes me happy right now is being true to myself and being authentically me and doing it to the best of my abilities. I'm being so graceful with myself right now, because the more I unpack, the more I walk through, the more that I see, the more layers of onions that are being pulled back, where God's just kind of showing me how deep it goes, how deep state it goes, and how big it is, and that's really hard for me to swallow. I struggle with that portion of it very much. Because I just really wanted better and want better for our country. And I was hoping for that. And so it's just hard for me, and I'll move through it and I'll operate through it the way that I do. I struggle right now, just given the circumstances of the dynamics that have been waged between my son and I, and that just really sucks. It's very hard for me. Very, very hard for me. That portion of it. And so anyways, there's a couple things that have come to me today, and I really wanted to touch on these things. I really, really do. I love people for who they are. If you're people that like a lot of money, I love that for you. If you're people that don't like a lot of money, I love that for you. If you're people, whatever, do whatever floats your boat. I'm here for you to do whatever floats your boat, but it doesn't mean that I have to like it. It doesn't mean that I have to morally align with it. When I talk about things, it doesn't mean I'm talking about you specifically. You take it as if I'm talking about you specifically, but I'm not. That's a you thing. That's not a me thing. I'm just talking freely about myself and how I operate and what things I pick up, how I feel about things, of my knowing, my understanding, my discernment, my intuition. But it doesn't mean I'm talking to you specifically. You to 333 as I say that. Those are things that you carry. I don't know why. I'm here to talk to you about it personally. If you reach out to me on my DMs, comments, phone, let me know. If I say something that ruffles you, I want to talk about it. But see, nobody will do that. Everybody does everything in the back. And that's what's as well as peculiar to me. Systems that disguise greed and control as opportunity or faith. This is for me, carrying a duality with humanity and humility is a big deal to me. Because I've seen it firsthand, and I've done it firsthand, and I know what it does to me when I go along with systematic abuse or systematic ways that I have to do to make a little money, or climb said ladder. I know what it makes me feel like, and I don't ever want to put myself at that place again. Now, I'm not saying those walking that put themselves at their place. Again, I'm talking about for me. This is about me. And I say things for people to take away with what resonates. Take away with what resonates and leave the rest. Humanity, the divine design. In the purest sense, humanity is the reflection of God's image. Humanity being as a whole, the world, earth, Wind, fire, people, nature, animals, trees, everything. That is humanity. All right, mankind. In a purest sense, humanity is a reflection of God's image. Our ability to feel, love, and create and discern truth. Discern truth. All right. Genesis 1:27. So God created mankind in his own image. All right. We were all created in his own image. And he created us specifically designed for us individually, authentically, unapologetically. All right. And I'm not saying I'm standing out here promoting chaos, all this crap. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I want people to be authentically themselves in God's image that he made for you. Right. And that would be spreading empathy, stewardship, and shared growth. Shared growth. Shared growth. All right. And that's on the abundant scale of things. See, we've gotten to a place where it's like, there's just not sharing. Sharing is not caring anymore. It really isn't. True humanity thrives on empathy, stewardship, and shared growth. Why would true humanity thrive on that? Why? Because we're made in God's image. Mankind was made in God's image. God's image is loving thy brother, loving thy sister, sharing, being generous, being empathy, being graceful, being merciful. That's God's image. And he made humanity, mankind, in his image for us to do that. And we've lost sight of it. Spiritual. Humanity is meant to be cooperative, not competitive. An ecosystem of contribution, not exploitation. But when ego and greed and fear takes root, humanity starts to fracture. And that's where duality begins. And see, that's where I feel like we're at right now. Is I feel like we're at a fracturing structure where we've gotten to a place where we can't go higher, we can't go lower, and everything's fracturing on the inside. Everything's fracturing on the inside based off the darkness, the greed, the ego, the lies, the deceit, the jealousy, the hate, the bulliness, the entertainment business, the business concept, corporate America, the middle class, the poverty, everything is fracturing right now as it unveils. And it truly is. Duality, the spirit within humanity. Duality means living between two forces, light and dark, spirit and flesh, and truth and illusion. Galatians 5:17, for the flesh desires what is contrary to the spirit, and the spirit is what is contrary to the flesh. Every system built by man contains this inner war. And it is. Every system built by man has an inner war. Why? Because it's man versus man. Essentially. It's ego versus ego. It's greed versus greed. Within the systems, whether that's the financial system, the food system, the medical system, corporate America, the business, middle class, everything. It's a system versus a system. It's a dog eats dog world right now. It really is. And every system built by man contains inner war. One side seeks truth, order, and service. The other side seeks control, profit, and deception. And that's the thing. That's why I won't even entertain going into the property management industry. I had this conversation with a customer. It was so funny. We were talking about it. It's so funny because I refuse. I would literally just be beating my head up against the wall. It's a it's a corrupt industry. Completely. Where investors are getting extremely rich and people can't afford to live. That's the balancing of it, essentially. In a very small nutshell. When institutions and companies forget who they serve, they start functioning from the lower half of duality, the shadow side of humanity. The shadow side of humanity resorts to what? Control, profit, deception. And see, that's where we're running when it comes to the companies, the corporate side of things. And I hope this video resonated. I'm going to do a video too because I want to talk about another thing. I love you guys.